Hello, I am Tatocat and welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Lucid9. Last time we left off with us finding out that Ryota was indeed the killer. The police are still after us. He probably has a mole in the police and he has Rui captive. And now we're trying to call him, and I left you all in suspense on, are we going to agree to the terms or are we going to refuse the terms? And pretty sure this is the intense part of the game where this will determine whether or not I have a good or bad ending. So I will definitely die. Alright, let's get started. So agree to these terms and refuse these terms. And to recap, the terms are so we throw away our stuff, and then right now Rui's in the safe hands of a third party so long as you listen to my words. So we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Rui go. Everyone lives their happy ending except for the police. Well, you know, they don't do anything anyway. So if we go, because Rui's not there, we won't be able to see her anyway. So if Shiguri comes, we can't find Rui. So you know what? I'm going to say no. Let's not say we did, man. Now, if I can't see Rui, then this entire ordeal is pointless. I have to take this risk. You know me better than that, Ryota. I have to see Rui with my own two eyes. Who knows? You could be lying. You could kill her before I show up. I'm wounded. Do you really think I would do something so cliche? You're kind of cliche, bro. Well, I didn't think you would be a serial killer. But here we are. Forgive me for not taking chances. Fair enough, boy. I'll play along. She'll be here by the time you arrive. I'll even let you see her before you enter the school. That was very oddly agreeable of him, even enough to make me feel as though I walked straight into his setup. And then, boy, is that all? Time passes ever on. Can I get anything more from him? Right now, the situation still seems grim. Accept these terms, reject these terms. You know what? Let's listen to the character. It seems like a setup. I'd also like for Rui to be untied, so she can run away, as if you wouldn't be able to chase her down. Playing hard to get, aren't we? Fine, because I'm so very magnanimous. I accept. Would you, Your Highness, also like a pony? Yes. Yes, I would. I don't know what I name it, but I want one. Especially if it's a miniature pony. Name it Swiftwing or something. Any new terms stack the odds more in my favor, but I'm not currently in a position of power. If I push too hard, everything could go south. Accept these terms, reject these terms. Well, yeah, we'll listen to our character. Our character kind of seems to know what he's doing, so he said we can't push him too far. So let's accept these terms. No, if I'm honest, there's not a whole lot more I can ask without making the request seem downright ridiculous to Ryota. Rui's going to be there. I'm going to see her. The police will know where I am. This is the most I can ask for. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you better run. Ta-ta. And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Then all my muscles burst into action and I shoot out of the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air cuts into my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. See, my friend would die, because there's no way I'd be able to run that fast. Like, I love her, but I'm not fit enough to do that. Stoplights in the cross sections warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Playing Frogger, are we? Engines roar by the horns belt in full volume. I'm certain that the cars roll down their windows to call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long work day, or from grabbing fast food around the corner, or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl hedged in a dark room, alone, her only company a crazed murderer who takes pleasure in infliction of long extended agony. And yet, on they go, with fast food and martial arts and cram school. The world blurs by in a haze of bright fluorescent color until I finally grind into a halt at the entrance of the school. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I'm forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes, I only have 2 left. I press my sleeves against the sweat, coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Ground up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor, and if I squint, I can catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Well, maybe the school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I noticed a long, distinctly human-shaped figure leaning against the solid wall. Fine weather we're having. I expect a voice, but I don't expect the instinctive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight to my eyes, no matter how hard I try to keep them down. Oh, what happened to his books and his pencil? Henrietta steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Out for a little night exercise? I try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. A power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep deprived. Forcing me to run here only gave him more of an advantage, and there's nothing I can do about it. No. Removal of the gadgets, if you may. Why is scary him? Seemed like he has a headache and he's going, oh, my head, I have a hangover or something. Wordlessly, I reach into my pocket until I remember. You said you'd show me Rui first. He only chuckles at this, not even a chuckle of amusement. It almost sounds giddy. Good, you're really already learning how to play the game. He turns and points tightly at the second floor of the classroom building. Most of it is shrouded in darkness, but just by the window I catch a glint of. You saw, didn't you? So, phone? All I saw was orange hair. It could be a dupe. Sighing heavily, Ryota reaches for his phone and taps the screen a few times. He only has to wait a few seconds. Rui, your boyfriend is having some trust issues. Be a dear and look out the window. I stare at the building, forcing myself not to blink, half convinced that if I look away for a split second, I'll miss everything. The head of orange hair by the window turns slowly, revealing a distinct pale face, muddled slightly by the distortion of the window. But without a doubt, it's Rui. I sigh breathlessly, instinctively. Something that I can't stop in time. Ryota smiles triumphantly. Phone? I silently hand him my phone. Turn out your pockets, pants, and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoe or your underwear. Come in, we've wasted enough time. Oh, we're at the back of the... But then he touches the wall and part of it slides away, and suddenly there's a keypad. He drops a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad, waits. The wall slides open. It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of ancient architecture in video games where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes and dust falls from the ceiling and a magical passage is revealed. Simply put, a door-shaped part of the wall swings open as if it was just a door, painted to look like a wall, except the texture is somehow exactly the same. It's quiet, it's understated, and I would have never guessed in a million years that it was there. Ryota clocks my shock and only grins in response. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get in and out somehow to dump his trash. Now, smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected, impenetrable walls in every direction, the only gate supervised by a card reader and cameras. But functionally speaking, do you think the janitor is going to walk out the gates, all the way around the school, dump, go back all the way around, and through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing socks. I knew that there had to be another way in, and well, it took some searching, but that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryota? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all of Isamu has a crappy security system. One man, outsmarted it just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be their faculty. Sloppy work on their part. Let's go, the night isn't getting any younger, nor am I. What would your guild say, Ryota? Huh? Your clan members will be just so disappointed in you. He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfectly even over the ground. I then notice that his careful steps renders him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me up the stairs to the second floor, the floor where I saw Rui. He pulls open the door, lifting an eyebrow at me, only stare inside the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Rui could have been moved. Shigure could be lying. There are so many moving components to this encounter, so many potential things that could go completely wrong. I turn my gaze to Ryota, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctly more impatient fashion. Impatience. I followed this nugget into the back portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Got it, so he's impatient. Ryota follows straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a loud crow. And the delinquent arrives at last. He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready to work, tossing his keys and phone on top of the desk, probably in an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stopped abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching for empty space. There, huddled in the back corner of the room, 3 desolate figures, each tied firmly to their chairs. One of them, with streaks of orange hair shining softly in the scant moonlight, is Rui. For a moment, I see nothing else, my eyes fixed on her, my throat closes. Happy? I shuffle forward, choked a whisper tearing out of my mouth before I can stop it. It's only after seeing her that the weight falls as I realize how long it's been since we last spoken, that I realize how much I missed her, that I remember what life was like without her. I brace my hands against the desk, keeping myself from collapsing bonelessly to the ground, forcing slow and steady breaths into my lungs. Still alive, alive and before my eyes. She screams something muffled against her gag and kicks the wall. The abrupt noise stops me in my tracks. Oh? Seems like the damsel in distress wants to share some lovely little words. Clearly amused, he stands to his feet and swaggers over the chairs in one fluid motion. He flourishes something from the teacher's desk and holds it high in the air. A knife, serrated and sickly, the blade glinting coldly at the edges. With a jolt of panic, I leap forward. Don't. He slices down. Time freezes. The tip of the knife whisks forward and over, straight towards Rory's skull, searing the air below into two. And at the last possible moment pulls back and neatly shreds the knot of her gag. The cloth flutters delicately in the air, coming to the rest on the linoleum below. I force a ragged breath as Ryota screeches. I don't think I can maniacal at her. Definitely not as a dude. So we're just going to say, wahahahaha. Okay. The look on your face, priceless. Priceless. You know, this is a very serious moment. All I'm thinking is how much he hates green, but he's wearing a green tie. Okay. I slump against the desk, my relief too great to allow room for anger. Instead, I stare at Ruri, her eyes, her hair, the tip of her nose, letting the memorized image remind me of home. Comfort, teasing, loud Christmas dinners and scented candles at a town festival. Whispered inside jokes, elbows in the ribs, playing make-believe like two idiots. Rui. What the hell are you thinking, Yama? Why would you come here? Her voice changes octaves with every syllable and her eyes are full of tears. But despite her terror, she's only worried about me. I clear my throat and croak something incomprehensible, then try again. You're okay. Yeah, but not for long. Why don't you just stay home? Because I couldn't leave her to die. Because I had to do something. I guess I got lazy at being lazy. She snorts at a choked laugh, something almost frenetic, as if she didn't mean to laugh, but she couldn't help it. Well, there's a surprise. She sends me a weak smile. I turn to Ryota, who only smiles lazily in response. You see, I'm a good sport, so very accommodating. You won't find an executioner of my tier anywhere else in the world. Executioner? Executioners scope a purpose. Executioners are given targets by other people. Is it possible to get any information out of him? Executioner? You mean glorified hunting dog? I mean, yeah, he seems like he has masters. That makes him a dog. So I say with an attempt in a cold, flat tone, but to my dismay his voice cracks. This only seems to heighten Ryota's glee. Hunting? Oh no, hunting is meant for practical purposes. Hunting is for meat, or the hide, or the money from the sales. I like to think of myself as a gardener, pruning dead weight so the branches with actual promise can grow. My id is my employer, my ego the employee. And don't think I don't know what you're doing. Scraping for time won't bring a piece any closer, boy. You realize how you sound. No more provocations. It's time for school to begin its session. He abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against the desk, blasting my ears with a sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in a remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right at my chest. You, why aren't you sitting down? I sit down, throat dry. Ryota's shoulders immediately relax. Good, that's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you get to be my special assistant. My body goes cold. My eyes immediately turn to the knife. Ryota, reading my intentions, chuckles. Oh, don't look so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? No, not really. Especially for us who sees blood and we kind of go into these weird lapses. Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it. I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully because it's an important one. Each of us needs to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class after all. I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my disciplinee will be darling little Rui, and yours will simply be that plastic cast skeleton. Or both of us will work on those other two students. Other students? Since when you kind of said at the beginning that she was tied with other people, didn't you? Ah, right, the two strangers sitting by Rui. I look to the back room, sizing up three figures. The first is a girl, the second is a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see sweat rolling from their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them, absolutely terrified innocent bystanders, are pulled into the sick dastardly game. Rui is next to them. Unlike the other, she is completely still, eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. But when I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tears and fear in her eyes. She's ungagged in a different circumstance. She would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other two students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word tells me just how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryota, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He is a discipliner, I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. If I don't, then all of us will be killed right here, right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I would only have to maim plastic, stop on plastic, break plastic. Everything would be safe. But then Rui would have to be in the hands of Ryota, and watching Rui get hurt, I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her, letting her die in Ryota's hands. No, there has to be a different way. But then what? The other two students? That's two lives instead of one. Two bodies instead of one. objectively it's the worst decision in every way. Ryota knows this because he knows me, sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can't give up, really. I just can't. But forcing two other students to suffer, just who do I pick? Alright. Well, I know it's a short episode, but we will end here. I'm leaving you on as a cliffhanger. I know, I'm so mean. We'll see what happens next episode. If you haven't already, liked, comment, and subscribe. If you want, you can even tell me which one to pick. I'll see you next time. I'm tatocat. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.